He wore a uniform of trust and hunted in silence. A man trained to protect became a predator who stalked his victims with precision and took trophies like a serial killer straight from your nightmares. This is not just a tale of murder. This is the story of how one of India's most cold-blooded psychopaths eluded justice for years, until his twisted legacy finally caught up to him. This is the case of Umesh Reddy, the cop turned killer. Born in 1969 in Basapa a village in Karnataka, Umesh Reddy appeared like any other man. He joined the Central Reserve Police Force in the early 90s, seemingly on the right path. But what hid beneath the surface was something far more sinister. During training, reports of inappropriate behavior began surfacing. He was accused of attempting to molest the wife of a fellow officer, an incident that cost him his job. But instead of getting help or punishment, Umesh disappeared into the shadows, and that's where the horror began. After losing his position, Umesh drifted through states, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat, often finding low-profile jobs as a watchman or a security guard, using fake identities. These jobs gave him something crucial: access. Access to apartment complexes, women living alone, quiet neighborhoods, blind spots in the system. Umesh developed a modus operandi that was as manipulative as it was terrifying. He often posed as a police officer, leveraging the residual power of his past to gain a woman's trust. He would ask them to accompany him under the pretext of questioning or falsely accuse them or their family members of theft. Once isolated, the real horror began. He would rape his victims, sometimes more than once, and in many cases strangle them with their own clothes. Some he killed immediately, others he let go, perhaps because he wanted to remain unpredictable, or perhaps because he fed on their fear long after the act. But in many confirmed cases, Reddy crossed into even darker territory: necrophilia, post-mortem sexual assault, a chilling reminder that his crimes were not just about sex. They were about dominance, control, and the annihilation of identity. As the investigation later revealed, Reddy didn't just violate and kill, he collected. He kept undergarments of his victims as trophies. When the police raided one of his hideouts, they found over 100 pieces of women's lingerie, neatly folded and stored. He even maintained a notebook, meticulously listing the names or aliases of his victims, rating them, describing their bodies, and how he enjoyed them. The chilling level of documentation mirrored behavior seen in notorious Western serial killers, like Jeffrey Dahmer or Dennis Rader. Umesh Reddy wasn't just acting on impulse. He was methodical, calculated, and worst of all, proud. From 1996 to 2002, Umesh Reddy left behind a trail of rape, abduction, and murder that terrified citizens and baffled law enforcement. Despite being arrested multiple times, he escaped custody with an audacity that seemed almost cinematic. In one infamous incident in 1999, after being caught in Bengaluru, Umesh asked the officer on duty if he could use the bathroom. As soon as he was alone, he jumped out of a window and vanished into the night. In another case, he loosened his handcuffs using a hidden pin, escaping while in transit between court hearings. Every escape led to more deaths. Every delay in justice was paid in blood. And each time the media flashed his name or photo, the public grew more outraged and more afraid. He was dubbed the escape artist. But make no mistake, the man behind the nickname was a cold-blooded serial killer who had learned to play the system like a game. In 2002, Umesh Reddy was finally captured again by Bengaluru police in a dramatic operation. This time, the authorities took no chances. The nation's fury over his continued freedom had reached a boiling point. His DNA matched several crime scenes. In 2006, he was sentenced to death by hanging by a Bengaluru Sessions Court. He appealed again and again. His mercy petition was rejected by President Pratibha Patel in 2011, and still he didn't die. The system, known for its slow gears and cautious approach to capital punishment, let his sentence linger. Then, in 2022, the Supreme Court of India commuted his death sentence to life imprisonment. Citing the prolonged delay as a violation of his constitutional rights, the decision sparked outrage. Families of victims demanded justice, not leniency, but the final word had been spoken. Today, Umesh Reddy sits in a prison cell, serving a life sentence not for one crime, but for a decade of evil. He was never a ghost, never a shadow. He walked the streets in broad daylight, a man in uniform, a man with a smile, and every door he knocked on opened because people trusted the badge. But Umesh Reddy turned that trust into terror. He used the very systems meant to protect us, to destroy lives, to feed his perversions, to become a monster of method and madness. His story isn't just about one man's evil, it's a reminder. Sometimes the most dangerous predator is the one we don't see coming, because he doesn't lurk in the dark. He rings the doorbell. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, stay cautious. Until next time on Reaper Files.